You talk about the conscious holographic universe. Can you walk us through that?
Yes, I think it's really important for people to understand that right now you and I are awake and we're conscious, and everyone listening. That conscious mind, whereby you're awake, is actually an infinite field of awareness. We're only identifying it with ourselves, but in reality, it's always infinite and unbounded. And the reason we end up not identifying with the infinite, unbounded aspect of it is that we have been trained only to be focused on our own, what's right in front of us. So when you go into meditation, you can experience deeper, quiet consciousness, and then in that state, you can see remote places. That's remote viewing, or being a seer. You can see the future, and that's precognition. You can see other realms, the so-called worlds of light, astral, celestial, other dimensions, higher and lower. And you can perceive also the very structure of the cosmos, where the first emanations from the field of consciousness are beginning to emerge. And those first emanations are the tonality of thought. It's the sound component of thought. Interestingly, that's what a mantra is, chanting. But if you look at it from a structure of the cosmos point of view, it's that you have this impulse that emerges, that is itself conscious and consciousness. And that first emergence from the unbounded field of consciousness is the plane of the absolute, as the mystics call it. There's this stimulation, this initial thought from the Great Spirit, and it's called the primal thought. And that primal thought and tonality, that then differentiates into all that exists in the cosmos, in creation. Not just the material, 3D, but all the worlds of light, all that exists. So that primal thought is constantly there. It's not like it came and went. It's a continuous presence. That then unfolds into the specific tonality, thought essence that's conscious within all things. So this primal thought then goes like a fractal into an infinite number of expressed things, stars, people, rocks, everything has this within it. So standing within every single point in space, time, or object is the unbounded consciousness, because all this is that, this emanation of tonality, primal thought, that then differentiates into that specific object. From there, you have the emanation of light. So the first emanation of light from the primal thought has been called the most great light. But from that most great light, you then have the expression into the light within all things. So then at that point, this emanation of the pure light form that's undifferentiated then becomes the worlds of light, they're called. And this can be all the different dimensions, higher, lower, angelic, celestial, to the very highest level. Now the highest level of the expressed is very, very close to that most great light primary emanation. So what happens is then from there, you have a template that interfaces, that creates time, space, matter, 3D. So I think for us to understand these extraterrestrial civilizations, we have to understand a new cosmology. So now let's talk about the technologies. If you're going to go from one point in space and time to another beyond the speed of light, you're traversing along, I call it the underbelly of the cosmos, but you have actually trans-dimensionally shifted into the astral or near astral. And, people think this is so hard to understand, but think about it. Most people have had a lucid flying dream where they see a place or a future. Well, how does that happen? It's because the consciousness within us and our deeper, subtle bodies are not as fixed in space and time and intellect as we normally associate, and therefore you can see a distant place
tannane tannane, tane tannane, tane tannane.